Yes, let's go with the cockroach, Periplaneta americana. Before we continue the class, let me give a brief of the cockroach as we are taken in earlier classes. That hierarchy of the cockroach, the phylum Arthropoda, subphylum Mandibulata, class Insecta, order Arthroptera, and family Blottidae, genus Periplaneta, species Americana. This is the hierarchy of cockroach. And entomology. What is entomology? Study of insects is called entomology. The household pest it is. The cockroach is the household pest. The mechanical vector cockroach, that means it's going to spread various kinds of diseases. We said mechanical vector contamination method like Entamoeba histolytica spread through cockroaches and houseflies. And Periplaneta americana, we said that is mostly tropical, but you can see in temperate regions also. The common species like Blatta orientalis and Periplaneta americana. The Periplaneta americana, which is our topic today, that native of tropical America, but now it is in cosmopolitan distribution. That means worldwide in distribution. The Burmeister is the scientist who coined the name Periplaneta americana. It's a nocturnal insect, active during night time, inactive during daytime. We say nocturnal insect. It eats all types of food material, omnivorous in nature. The swift runner it is. That's why we call it cursorial. And the cockroach is an excellent example for study of insects because of its large-sized body, which makes it a convenient specimen for the dissection and demonstration. The cockroach can enter small crevices in the floor or walls. That is because of its having flattened body. It eats all types of food. That's why we call it as omnivorous in nature. And the external features of the cockroach. When you come to the external features of the cockroach, is elongated, narrow, elliptical, dorsoventrally depressed body with bilateral symmetry. The reddish brown in color with a light yellow area around the edges of pronotum. Then body division we said in earlier classes, that is called tagmata. We say there are three tagmata in cockroach: head, thorax, and abdomen. The number of segments in the head region are 6, and in thorax 3. Abdomen is with 10 segments. The tagmata are said to be the morphologically distinct parts of the body. Okay, then let's move with the head. Head is a small triangular structure formed by the fusion of 6 embryonic segments. The head of cockroach is called hypognathous head. Why it is called hypognathous? Because it lies hanging almost at the right angles to the body. That means at the ventral side of the body will find the head. That hypo means ventral side, gnathos means jaws. And the position of the head is perpendicular to the longitudinal body axis, where the posterior wider part is upward and mouth parts are directed downward. How the head is connected to the thorax? That is with the help of cervicum, short neck or cervicum. I am going little faster here. I am going little faster because we have completed this particular in earlier classes. But for the new students' sake, we are doing a small revision of this particular area. The head is connected to the thoracic region with a short neck or cervicum that movably attached to the head to the thorax. So now need to see about the head region, need to talk about the head region. When it comes to the head region, the top of the head is called vertex between the compound eyes. These are the compound eyes. A pair of compound eyes are present. The top of the head is said to be vertex and it has epicranial suture. Epicranial suture which divides the epicranium vertex into two epicranial plates. Below that, we'll find a triangular portion, the franz, the scleroid covering the head in front. We say it's a triangular, and it is the largest scleroid plate. And there I did remember you, the hardest part of the body, which can be called as scleroid. So these are all the plates, hard plates. The scleroid plate, triangular, it is called franz, and that is the largest scleroid plate. Below that, we'll find a rectangular scleroid plate, a narrow rectangular scleroid plate, we say clypeus. Movably attached to the clypeus, we'll find the labrum, which is the mouth part. Up that to the ventral edge of the clypeus, that particular labrum is attached. Either sides of the franz and clypeus will find the gene or cheek scleroids. which are covering the sides of the head, they are present below the compound eye address we are giving. They are present below the compound eye, they are present on either sides of the franz and clypeus. Okay, then the remaining other portions on the dorsal view of the head, you will find below the compound eye there is a socket. Buried in the socket, scape, connected to the scape, pedicel, and a multi-segmented flagellum. Scape, pedicel, flagellum are collectively called antenna. The scape, pedicel, flagellum are collectively called as antenna. So below the socket, we'll find a fenestrae or ocellular spot or simple eyes are present here, present on the base of each antenna. A small whitish speck it is. Speck nothing but dot. Okay. So did I remember you that earlier in the class also, cockroach is the more famous for that number of terms, the various kinds of technical terms we can say. We can say this is the top of the first year. That means complication point of view. People feel so, student feels so. I don't think so. My student feel this particular because we are doing again and again. The repetition is the only medicine for the cockroach because the various words and various terms are repeated again and again. So that's why your practice is required at least daily 5 to 10 minutes. That for 5 to 10 times you need to do this back again and again. You may take 5 minutes or more, not more than 10 minutes, but you do it, repeat it again and again. Continuously repetition of this particular is very important for us. That makes us these particular terminology will become more familiar to us. Okay, then the ventral side of the head, you can see occipital foramen, which is a large opening which through which present at the back side of the head, that means ventral side, bordered by a scleroid called occiput. What is foramen? Foramen means opening, a bigger opening. Then what it is? It forms a passage for esophagus, aorta, nerve cord, and tracheae. That it forms a passage for esophagus, aorta, nerve cord, and tracheae. And yesterday we have seen mouth parts, isn't it? The labrum, as we have seen now. Next, you can see some more mouth parts also. If you can recognize, if your practice is well, you see this is a submentum, mentum, prementum. That means this is labium. And these are maxillae. On the sides, you can see the maxillae. You can't see mandibles because they are hiding inside the labium. Labium covers everything. Okay, so then moving on to the appendages of the head. Appendage, what we said, that outgrowth of the body is called as appendage. The first segment is not having any appendages. The second segment, appendage of the second segment is antennae, which is tactile. Tactile means touch receptor. Olfactory, smell, like our nose. The third segment has no appendages, but appendages of the fourth, the fifth, the sixth are mouth parts. Like mandibles are a pair, fifth segment, first maxillae, which is a pair, sixth segment, labium. These are the appendages of the cockroach. Now, let me introduce you the mouth parts of cockroach. The labrum, which is called upper lip. Then labium. Labium is called as lower lip. And a pair of maxillae, you can see here, a pair of maxillae and a pair of mandibles. A pair of mandibles and hypopharynx. Labrum, labium, pair of maxillae and a pair of mandible, hypopharynx. These are the mouth parts. 5 types of mouth parts are present. What do you call the mouth parts of cockroach? The mouth parts of cockroach are called as biting and chewing type of mouth parts. Yeah, we have some disturbance. No matter. Think it is reaching towards you. That further only I made some mic to get you clearly. Okay, so then let's come through this. Labrum, labium, mandibles, maxillae, hypopharynx. Okay, then let's get down. Let's see each and every mouth part clear as we are seeing this earlier. But as I said to you, repetition is the medicine for cockroach. I do repeat. Labrum, vertical rectangular plate, movably connected to the clypeus, also called upper lip, form the anterior wall of the pre-oral cavity, which bear gustatory sensillae on its surface. It is called upper lip actually. As we have seen, it is connected to the clypeus, movably connected. It serves to hold the food material. It helps to taste the food. That's about the labrum. Information about the labrum. And let's see mandibles. A pair of mandibles. A pair of mandibles. A pair of mandibles are present here. These are the triangular, hard, unjointed, chitinous, chitinized structures which are present on the sides of the mouth connected with the gene. Do you remember the gene? We have seen earlier now. Inner margins of having teeth-like structures here that helps to chewing, mastication of the food material. The two pairs of muscles are moving the mandible, adductor and abductor. The each mandible has incising and grinding teeth. The type mandibles are having incising and grinding teeth. Then let's move with the first maxillae situated on the sides of the mouth immediately behind the mandible. The maxillae need to classify in the form of three: protopodite, endopodite, exopodite. Okay, so protopodite include cardo, stipes. Endopodite include galea, lacinium. Exopodite include pulpifer and maxillary pulp. Cardo attaches to the head, stipes attaches to the cardo. That you can see in the diagram. Endopodite, it's an outer broad hood-like structure. It is that endopodite having outer broad hood-like structure called galea and a pincer-like structure which resembles like forceps, scissors-like, that lacinium. Exopodite include pulpifer, a small scleroid lobe which maxillary pulp arises from here, and the five jointed structure maxillary pulp. What is the function of maxillary pulp? It is used for the cleaning of antennae, and the forelegs, first pair of legs are cleaned by this particular maxillary pulp. So remember these particular words, repeat these particular words, practice this word. The maxillae are biramous, and what way we call biramous? Because they are branched. By means two, rami, branch. Maxillae serves to hold the food and bring it to the mandibles. Second maxillae, labium or lower lip, we can say, that lies behind the first pair. Both the second maxillae fuse to form a broad plate-like labium. Actually, that is called second maxillae, but now we are calling because they fuse, that's why we are calling it as labium. What are the parts in labium? Submentum, mentum, prementum. See this. This is submentum and mentum, prementum. Then above the prementum, we'll find glossae, the smaller one, paraglossae, the bigger one. So glossae and paraglossae. They are compared with the first maxillae. Which parts of the first maxillae? Galea and lacinium. Glossae and paraglossae are nothing but galea and lacinium. That's why we call it a second pair of maxillae. And at the basis of prementum, you can see pulpiger, from which who is coming? Three segmented labial pulp is coming. Pulpifer, that is in maxilla, and this is called pulpiger. Submentum. See, I am showing that everyone individually. Upper part of the labium. This is the part who attaches to the head. Mentum, middle part of the labium. Prementum, lower part of the labium. And glossae and paraglossae. The distal end of prementum bear a pair of paraglossae and a pair of glossae. Just giving address where they are present, we are giving address like pulpiger. Where it is pulpiger? The basis of prementum. We have pulpiger. Who is coming from the pulpiger? The three segmented labial pulp arises from the scleroid lobe called pulpiger. So this is the story of this particular about mouth parts. I think one is left over. That is hypopharynx, isn't it? That we need to go with the hypopharynx. We need to search that hypopharynx where it is. This is the hypopharynx. A tongue or lingua. The tongue or lingua. It's like our tongue. But that's why we say that as lingua. Lingua, nothing but the meaning is tongue. It's a rod-like grooved structure. The hypopharynx. Chitinous. That means hard material. Hanging in the pre-oral cavity between the first maxillae. Pre-oral cavity. What is it? Pre-oral cavity. Oral cavity means it's like our buccal cavity. Our buccal cavity is called oral cavity. If anything in front, we say pre-oral cavity. Okay, it bears the opening of efferent salivary duct. That means who is efferent salivary duct? We'll get in digestive system. Simply now I can say it secretes the saliva. That is the salivary gland. From the salivary gland, a duct is coming. Who is that? Efferent salivary duct. That particular efferent salivary duct opens into the hypopharynx. So what is the function of hypopharynx? Just simply we say it is going to secrete the saliva. Okay. Now let's take this particular area that you need some practice. That's all. You need some practice. For the practice, how to do the practice? More terms are waiting for you. That means it's not over. That there are a lot of terminology is waiting for you. Before that, you need to practice all that particular things. How to do the practice? I am giving here. So the need to draw the diagram. How we are drawing, no matter. We do practice later for that particular. You people may feel so joining in BIPC, you need to draw diagrams perfectly. That this is a rapid world. There is no, I'm not going to say completely no importance, but we are for medical entrance examination, drawing the diagram perfectly is not important. That yes, whether you understand that particular diagram is not up there or not, that is very important. Okay, so you may have some edge when you draw the diagrams well and good in IP examination, board examination. That is at least 6 to 10 marks will have out of 60, out of 76 with choice. Okay, so what I am saying here, understanding the diagram is very important. Okay, so what you are looking, that means when you draw, you should not draw the mechanical drawing is not suggestible in biology. Mechanical drawing. What is mechanical drawing? Just there is a line, I draw on the line. There is a curve, I draw on the curve. There are some dots, I count the dots and I'll put. Not like that. When you're drawing the diagram, you should know what you're drawing. For example, I drawn this line. What is this? This is head. And what is the red part I drawn here? What is this? When I am drawing, I should know. So that's why I'm going to say how your drawing is no matter. We'll do practice later for IP examination. That now when you are drawing, that you should know what is this compound eye. I drawn the head, and this is the vertex of the head. And the vertex of the head is having epicranial suture. Epicranial suture. Then there are simple eye or whitish speck, we say that ocellular spot or fenestrae, we can say. Then there are two epicranial plates are present on the either sides of the epicranial suture. Two epicranial plates are present. The roughly triangular portion below the compound eye, we say that is frons. And the roughly rectangular portion below the frons is said to be clypeus. And then this is labrum. This is the labrum. Attached to the ventral edge of the clypeus, labrum is present. Then either sides of frons and clypeus, we see the pair of cheek plates are present. These are called cheek plates. What do you say them as? Gene. Okay, so you should know each and every labeling. When you are drawing, you should know each and every labeling. Like this is the socket. So do you know who is coming from the socket? That's called scape and pedicel and a multi-segmented flagellum. Scape, pedicel, multi-segmented flagellum are called as antennae. This is the scape, pedicel and a multi-segmented flagellum. Okay. So I'm giving arrow marks. I'm not writing. I'm not writing because I am allowing you to take the screenshot. Please take the screenshot of this and which will helpful for you to answer for practice. As I said to you, 5 to 10 minutes every day for at least 5 to 10 times. That means in the minimum 25 to 30 minutes you need to spend. I'm not asking you to revise and read it. Nothing you need to read. For along the length of cockroach, you people no need of notes, textbook even. Because the cockroach text itself is modified in the form of notes. That whatever the notes you have, I send PDF, that particular notes is just straight away the textbook itself. The textbook is analyzed in the form of visuals. So that's why no need of textbook even. Just take a screenshot and try to answer this particular by putting dots. What is this? Vertex. And what is this? Epicranial plate. This is epicranial suture. And this is socket, scape, pedicel, flagellum, and a pair of compound eyes. That frons, gene, clypeus, labrum, likewise. You should practice. Okay. Practice by labeling And without labeling also you need to have, without labeling. Okay, in the same way I'll show you that mouth parts. Then what is this? Labrum. Below the labrum, a pair of mandibles are present. If possible, if you have notes, then draw along with me. So this is hypopharynx, labrum, mandibles, hypopharynx. Then what is this? This is the first pair of maxillae with Cardo, Stipes, Galea, Lecinia. Let me change the color. Cardo, Stipes, Galea, Lecinia, Pulpifer, and the 5-segmented maxillary pulp. Okay, so this is Cardo, Stipes, Galea, Lecinia, Pulpifer, and the 5-segmented maxillary pulp. And then our labium, which is called as lower lip, submentum, mentum, prementum, and glossy, paraglossi, the glossy and paraglossi. These are the glossy and paraglossi. And there is a pulpiger, the scleroid loop, from which who is coming? The labial pulp is coming. That labial pulp. Okay, so first of all, names of the 5 types of mouth parts is important for us. What is this? I'm not writing. You just need to practice. Labrum, mandibles, and let's draw our hypopharynx. This is hypopharynx, hypopharynx. Then what is this? Maxillae, and this one labium. So the 5 types of mouth parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you call this kind of mouth parts actually? Biting and chewing type of mouth parts. Such type of mouth parts are called biting and chewing type of mouth parts. Okay, so I think not clear, not clear. We do one thing. So these are this is the frame. You need to write. This is the frame here. So these are called biting and chewing type of mouth parts. So these are the ancient, oldest type of mouth parts in the particular insect world. That we have so many modern type of mouth parts are available here. Modern types of mouth parts. So what it means, the modern types of mouth parts like piercing and sucking type of mouth parts in mosquito, that is to suck the blood of human being. The siphoning type of mouth parts, which are there in butterfly to take the nectar. So the sponging and sucking type of mouth parts in case of housefly, that is to suck the liquids, liquid food material. So this is the oldest type of mouth parts, is it? Biting and chewing type of mouth parts, we can say. Okay. So this is the criteria. This is the criteria to read cockroach. Okay, let me go for two more are there that I need to show you the maxillae clearly. This is Cardo and this is Stipes. What do you say Cardo and Stipes as? Protopodite. Galea and Lecinia are belongs to endopodite. Then exopodite, who is called exopodite? A small scleroid loop called pulpifer, and from the pulpifer, a 5-segmented maxillary pulp is coming. Okay, this is called first maxillae, as we have seen in the previous diagram. That need to expose more. So need to practice like this. Cardo and Stipes. What is this Cardo? What is this Stipes? Okay, so collectively called protopodite. Galea, Lecinia, Galea and Lecinia. So I think it became a little bit familiar for you by today itself. We are taking this for 2 days onwards. And if possible, just watch the recorded video also. As I sent to you the earlier yesterday's and the day before the videos to the respected authorities that I think you may know them, the Sharma sir, and you can collect from him. You can collect that particular videos from him. He'll send you through in WhatsApp. Okay, so you just contact him. Then this is the first maxillae, Cardo, Stipes, Galea, and Lecinia. The pulpifer, and the 5-segmented maxillary pulp. Please take the screenshot to practice. First maxillae. The images will be sent to you even. I'll send the images if possible. Next, labium. Need to declare the labium in detail. Submentum, mentum, prementum, submentum, mentum, prementum. Next, glossy and paraglossy, glossy and paraglossy. And that particular small scleroid lobe, pulpifer, who is coming from the pulpifer, that the three segmented labial pulp is coming. The three segmented labial pulp is coming. Okay, this is labium. Okay, so submentum, mentum, prementum, glossy, paraglossy, pulpiger. There earlier in maxillae that is pulpifer. Now this is pulpiger. Then three segmented labial pulp. Earlier in maxillae, five segmented maxillary pulp is present. Now this is three segmented labial pulp. Okay. So you need to do this kind of practice. You need to do this kind of practice. Let me come from the beginning. This is the head reason. So vertex, epicranial suture, epicranial plates, that socket, that scape, pedicel, flagellum, and the France, Gine, Clypeus, labrum. Okay, France, Gine, Clypeus, and labrum. So removing all the dots here, that you people need to take the screenshot and you need to do practice continuously. Continuous practice required here. Otherwise, the cockroach will confuse you as it did for that lakhs of students in the earlier also. So I don't think so. My student will be confused. If you go the way I'm giving, if you follow the way over a period of time, that will completely fixed over in your brain. Okay. So for the new students who came today, you please ask for the previous videos, yesterday's and day before videos. You collect from the Sharma sir that after this class recording, which will helpful for you to better understand for the coming days. Okay, so today, the yesterday and day before, today video also available here, that after the completion of the class, because the initial days of cockroach is very important. You can't join in the middle. That when you do practice like this, that will go like a flow. Otherwise, if I say today, those people who joined today, if I say this kind of words, scape, pedicel, flagellum, socket, anther, branch, clypeus, labrum, labium, maxillae, mandible, cardo, stipes, galea, lecinia, submentum, mentum, prementum, glossae, paraglossy, definitely you people will get confusion, isn't it? That means the various number of terms we introduced from last 2 days. Okay, let me close this. That this is the labrum, number one, labrum. Number two, mandibles. Number five, here the hypopharynx. Number three, first pair of maxillae. Then the fourth one, second pair of maxillae, we call it as labium. Okay. So then, in the case of first pair of maxillae, cardo. This is cardo. This is stipes, collectively called protopodite. They are called protopodite. Galea and lecinia are called endopodite. Then the pulpifer and maxillary pulp are belongs to hexapodite. Pulpifer and maxillary pulp. Hexapodite. Why you call that maxillae of cockroach is biramus? You see the branching. Rami means branching. Two branches we have. That means you need to see in this particular angle. That branched into maxillary pulp and liliae and lacini. Okay. So labium. Let me say again, this is submentum, this is mentum, and this is prementum, glossy, paraglossy, and the pulpiger, this one, and three segmented labial pulp. Three segmented labial pulp. So I'll send the images also to you and do the practice continuously. Do the practice. Today we'll take a little bit information about the scleroid plates, which are present all over in the cockroach, that are scleroid plates. Okay. So let me go for the scleroid. We said cockroach is having the hard chitinous plates. More than the chitin, the hardest substance is going to be scleroid. So we need to take a look on that particular scleroid. Will come whole in the, that means the total chapter, these particular sclerites will come again and again. So that's why we learn about the sclerites today. This is information about the sclerite. The hardest plates of the body, we say sclerite. A typical segment of the cockroach contain 4 sclerite plates. How we define sclerite? The hard exoskeleton plates which covers the body are called sclerites. Remember, friends, the notes made by me actually, that based on the textbook itself, that every line of textbook is represented here. Additionally, added one is these particular visuals. Some hypothetical visuals are made over to understand the cockroach much better. Then I think notes is available with you. If it is possible, you take the printout of the notes also and start reading the day by day, but don't read the particular things which are not explained. Otherwise you'll get huge confusion. So that means I'm going into certain areas that how to start is the expert matter. So that's why you should not start like sir, I didn't understand this. You didn't understand this, I didn't explain that area. So the areas which I am focusing day by day, just focus on them. Just focus on them. Okay, let's go through this. Sclerites. What are the sclerites? Hard exoskeleton plates which covers the body are called as sclerites. A typical segment of the cockroach contain 4 sclerite plates: dorsal sclerite plate, ventral sclerite plate, lateral sclerite plate. Throughout the length of the cockroach, these particular words will come. That's why you need to practice it today. Dorsal sclerite plate is called tergum. Ventral sclerite plate is called sternum. Lateral sclerite plate are called pleura. Pleuron is the singular one. Pleura is the plural one. Okay, so tergum, sternum, pleura. Okay, the dorsal sclerite plate is called tergum. Ventral sclerite plate is called sternum. Lateral sclerite plate is called pleura. Let's take a look how many segments are present in the cockroach. What we said, head is having 6 segments, that thorax is having 3 segments, abdomen is having 10 segments. And just take a look back again what we said in the sclerite plates. We said in the sclerite plates, each segment, a typical segment of the cockroach contain 4 sclerite plates. Okay, that means if you take thorax, in the thorax, how many segments are present in the thorax? 3. That means how many terga can be expected?
Sir,
3 terga.
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
My voice is breaking. Yeah, okay, I'll try. Actually, you may have the internet problem, I think so. Okay, I'll look forward.
Yes.
Okay, so the dorsal sclerite plate is called tergum. Ventral sclerite plate is called sternum. Lateral sclerite plate is called pleura. Okay, that I'll show this particular. So what we said, that each segment is having this kind of set, isn't it? Each segment. So that means how many segments are there in the thoracic region? To understand, I took example of thoracic region. So how many segments are there in the thoracic region? The thoracic region contains 3 segments. So first of all, let's see that dorsal sclerite plate, what we said, tergum. The ventral sclerite plate is called sternum. Lateral sclerite plate are called pleuron. Okay, so tergum, sternum, ventral side, sternum. Then lateral side, pleuron. Lateral side, pleuron. So how many segments are there in the thorax? 3 segments are there. So that means how many terga can be expected? That 3 terga can be expected. Terga, 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 like this. How many sterna can be expected?
Sir, now it is clear, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. How many
Thank you, sir.
sterna are expected? 3 sterna. 3 sterna. That means we say a typical segment contain 1 tergum, 1 sternum, 1 pleura. Okay. So that how many pleura can be expected? That connecting the tergum and sternum, 6 pleura can be expected over that on either sides. Okay, the lateral sides we can't show. That one particular place we can take. That means if it is a cockroach, if this is a cockroach, this is the thoracic region. That means tergum, tergum. Like this, you can see that today, tomorrow we'll see these particular in detail. But you should understand tergum. How many segments are there in the thorax? Three. Three terga. How many sterna are present? Three sterna. How many pleura are present? 6 pleura. So to explain that we are talking about, let me say again, dorsal scleroid plate is called tergum. Ventral scleroid plate is called sternum. Lateral scleroid plates are called pleura. The typical segment is having all these particular plates that we call exoskeleton. We may have endoskeleton, isn't it? We have bones. Like cockroach is having exoskeleton. That means hard portion is not inside. Hard portion which is present in the form of body cover. Okay. So in that way, the cockroach is having exoskeleton. Then let's take a look on thorax today and we'll close it. This particular thorax is having 3 segments: prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. There are 3 segments in the thorax: prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. That we know, as we said, there are 3 terga, 3 sterna, 6 pleura, because every segment is having a set of tergum, sternum, and pleura. The tergum of prothorax is called pronotum. The tergum of mesothorax is called mesonotum. The tergum of metathorax is called metanotum. That means tergum is also having a name called notum. Pronotum, mesonotum, metanotum. Pronotum is the largest scleroid, triangular portion this is. It covers the neck and little part of the head also. Largest scleroid of the body, total body, you have to remember. Okay, so we continue with the thorax in the next class, and I request all of you do the practice of this particular, and do remember you. I'll send all the videos of today and yesterday, day before, when we start from cockroach onwards. You need to watch and you need to practice this particular. So this is the entry classes we can say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.